Hello everyone, welcome to this video and welcome to my channel. My name is Brenda Campbell. I'm an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher, and today is Mindful Monday. On Mindful Mondays, I guide you through the 8 steps of the Zentangle method of drawing, and hopefully you will find a little bit of calm, a little bit of zen, and a little bit of mindfulness that you can carry with you through the rest of your day or even the rest of your week. And yes, it may not be Monday as you watch this, and that's okay. This is something you can do anytime, any day. So once again, welcome to this video, and I'm going to go ahead and get us started right away with step 1, gratitude and appreciation. Now, in step 1, I'm going to talk you through a short breathing exercise that should get us kind of ready to draw and settled into this moment. So, sit up straight if you're sitting, get comfortable, and begin by taking one deep breath in and rising up tall as you do. So, breathing in and breathing out. And as you breathe out, just kind of relax a little bit. And second breath in, big inhale. And exhale. Last big breath in. And out. Relax your shoulders. And now just let your breath fall into its natural rhythm and follow that breath. Just pay attention to it. Breathing in and breathing out. And focus on that breath. Try to clear your mind of its thoughts, but they will come back. That's what your mind does, is think for you. And we're just trying to give it a little bit of a rest. So as those thoughts come in, just notice them and then let them go. And focus back on your breath. Breathing in and breathing out. Now think about something that makes you smile. And once you're smiling, hold on to that feeling. I believe you're grateful when you're smiling. So this is how gratitude feels. And once you've locked in on that feeling, I want you to remember it so you can bring it into our practice today as we draw. And one more big breath in and out. And that is all there is to step 1, gratitude and appreciation. Before we move on to step 2, I just want to talk a little bit about our tools and materials for today. And I also want to remind you, along with Bijou, our little mascot, we are reminding you to slow down today if you're drawing along with me. and just relax into it. Focus on the line or the mark we're making in this moment. And that's it. Don't worry about what you just did. Don't worry about what's coming next. Just focus on one stroke at a time. So I'm going to be using a original Zentangle 3.5-inch square tile. I'm also going to be using a Micron PN pen, a pencil, graphite pencil for shading, and a tortillon to blend out the shading. So let's go ahead and move on to step 2, and we're going to use our pencil now. Step 2 is to put a dot in each of the corners of our tile. Step 3 is to connect those connect those dots and create a border. Step 4 is our string, which is simply line or a series of lines inside that will give us places to put our patterns or our tangles. So today we're going to do a very simple kind of an arch, kind of a circle that it goes off of the bottom, I guess, or an arch if you want. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'd make it pretty large. You can see mine. And now I'm finished with my pencil, and I am going to pick up my PN pen, and we are going to begin step 5, the patterns or the tangles. And we are going to begin by drawing right on top of our circle or arch, if you will. And I'm going to start here at the base, and I'm just going to kind of go around slowly. And when I get to where I can't draw anymore without moving my tile, I just kind of lift up my pen as if I'm still drawing but lifting up as I go. That's called the takeoff. And then in order to get a smoother line, when I come back, this is the landing, I'm going to kind of draw in the air until I make contact with that line. Then I'm going to go up to take off and land. Take off and land. Okay. I'm gonna, this first one just kind of didn't meet, but there we go. Okay, so that is our first line. Now I'm going to draw an aura, but I'm going to do it inside this circle or line. So I want my pen underneath the line. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to make sure that as I draw, I can see this line that I'm going to aura. So let's go ahead and start that. And again, with our takeoff and our landing. Take off and landing. Take off. Okay, I didn't have such a smooth landing on that last little bit, but that's okay. No mistakes, remember. All right, now the first tangle we're going to draw is called quabog, I think. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but that's what it's called. And we are going to draw this tangle kind of as a border around our arch. So I'm going to start here at the base. And it comes up, and then it kind of has a little knob on the end. And then it comes up. It's like one continuous line. Now, I'm making these rather large because I'm going to do just a little decorating with them. Now I'm going to make some of these go kind of off he kind of just went crazy there. That's okay. Now this guy's going to be quite rogue. Going up there behind. All right, so now I have my quabog tangle, and I am going to put inside this archway our next tangle, and that is the tangle facade. Now, facade begins by making these, I'll call them straps, that go across our shape. Okay, and then we're going to do an X, but we're going to kind of do it in hollyball fashion, where we draw this second strap will go underneath this first one. We stop, lift our pen, continue drawing, and pick it back up on the other side. Stop, draw in the air, pick it back up on the other side. Okay, now we're going to draw a couple more of these straps. And they, as you see, are going under this one when they come up and cross it. I'm going to turn it again, and I'm going to do a couple more. Again, going behind wherever we come across another strap. Okay, so I think that's good. And the next step for facade is to draw these circles behind these straps or bars, whatever we're calling them. And we are going to draw them behind, just like we did the straps. So I'm just going to randomly throw some circles in here. And again, I'm making them large because I like that. This one's going to kind of be a half a one. They can even go behind other circles if you want them to. 6. Let's do one more. Where do I want to put one more? Yeah, maybe I'll put it here. Now, that's okay. I guess that'll work. Okay, so the next step in facade, now that I'm done deliberating over my circles inside there, the next step is to fill in everything behind the straps and behind the circles with solid black. And take your time with this. This is just as zen as drawing lines repeatedly. Or it certainly is something you can make that zen. It's up to you. And this is going to take a little bit of time, and that's okay. I am just using small circular motion as I fill in the space, slowing down when I get to another object, and I'm trying to keep the line where I can see it. So that's part of the reason I turn my tile. It also helps keep my wrist a little more relaxed. Kind of try to make a little barrier that edges with the other objects, and that gives me a safe zone, if you will, for making my little circular motion marks that fill in that black. Kind of sculpting. You have to be really careful when you start changing the lines that you've drawn. So don't feel like you need to change anything. I find the more I futz with something or play with it, that the worse I tend to make it. So I don't do it very often. And remember, there are no mistakes. You really cannot do this wrong. And with the Micron PN also, I'm always reminding myself to lighten up on my pressure so that I don't stop the ink from flowing out of the pen nib. So remember that too. Lighten up on your pressure. Relax. And just focus on filling in that space. Now this little line here makes this look more like an oval, so I'm just going to draw right over it, and then this side of that will be underneath those bands. Okay, this is our last little section. There. Okay, that is facade. So we're finished drawing our 2 tangles today. That's all we're going to do. So I am going to put my pen away. We're finished with our tangles, and we are going on to step 6, which is shading. Now I'm going to use this graphite pencil, and we're going to begin with quabog, since that's how we began in our drawing. And I like to just put a little bit of graphite in between these little quabog shapes. So that's where I begin. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my tortillon now. And a tortillon is just kind of a rolled up paper that comes to a point. And I use that like the side of the point to blend. And as I blend, I'm trying to soften it and kind of pull it away so there isn't really a sharp line where the shading ends. Just keep pulling it away. Occasionally I roll it or turn it so that it kind of evenly spreads that excess graphite around on my tortillon. Doesn't get all mucked up in one spot. And I don't know if you noticed, but this is a fair amount of graphite that I put in these spaces, so I did that on purpose so I could pull it away a little bit farther and kind of more clearly define our quabog shapes. Okay, so now I'm going to pick my pencil back up, and I'm going to add a little bit more graphite wherever I have a quabog shape that goes behind another one. There we go. Pick my tortillon back up. Okay, and something else I like to do with quabog is just put like a little bit around the tops of all of these. Kind of give them a little bit of dimension. And I'm just going around the outline. You don't have to be too crazy with it. I'm taking advantage of any graphite I have, so I've got like graphite from my border and my dots, and I'm just blending those out inside these shapes. Like I said, just trying to give it a little bit more interest, a little bit more dimension. Okay, I think that works pretty good. And I'm just using my tortillon, but just ever so lightly around the edge of this arch. Give it a little bit of a shadow. And I'm not adding, as you can see, I'm just using the graphite left over on my tortillon. And I'm just lightly blending that out. Okay, so that's pretty much it for our quabog. I can futz with this shading longer, but I shouldn't. Okay, so now I'm picking my pencil back up and we're going to shade facade. Now, obviously, the shading for this tangle is in the drawing behind shading. So everywhere you have a shape that goes behind, we are going to add a little graphite. I don't want to put too much graphite in there, so I don't want to get this too dark. But I do need some graphite in order to give it that interest and dimension. Is that good? I think that's good. I think I better go around the edges. Just checking to see if I got them all. There's another one. Okay, hopefully that's all of them now. If I missed one, we'll just add it as we go along. It's okay. And I'm just blending this out. Okay, I think that's all we need to do for facade in terms of shading. But I think we've done a pretty good job. It's kind of falling back. The circles are falling back beyond. Now I might just add just a light touch around edges, not too much. I want to make them completely dark. Okay, let me blend that up. Okay, no more futzing with the shading on facade. So technically we could be done, but I'm going to pick my PN pen back up. And because I am recording this in the month of October, and I also like to do a little seasonal twist if I can, I'm just going to incorporate a little decoration into our quabog tangle here. And hopefully it's going to give it the little spooky Halloween feel like I'm looking for. So start with any of these quabog shapes. I'm going to start with this one. And I'm going to give him a couple of dots that maybe look like eyes. I don't know. They're just dots. If I got a lot of space, I may choose to do more than two. If I don't have enough space, I might just do one. Okay, so I have added these dots into each of these shapes, and I think if you use your imagination, it might look a little bit like eyeballs or eyes. They might look like ghosts or little creatures coming out from around this, I don't know, this cave where all those dots are back there. So, but while I've got my pen, I'm going to go ahead and do one other thing that's going to help with this shading and facade. And I am going to go over the lines where they cross and just darken them a little bit. And this should just add a little bit extra to that dimension. And it doesn't matter if I get them all, but I think I'm doing okay here. Just about done. Okay, I think that's it. So I am going to put my pen away, pick up my tortillon again. I'm just going to add a little graphite here to edges. Make sure I've got something everywhere. So I had missed this one here. Okay. I'm just going to rub my tortillon around this arch aura shape just to kind of clean it up a little bit, I guess. Okay, that is all for step 6, the shading, and now we're moving on to step 7, which is our initial and signature. So let's see, this little circle guy, this still bothers me. This is the biggest eye that we have, or I mean dot. These little creatures coming out from around that cave. Cool. So back to our initial. I'm going to put my chop on here. I guess I could put it over here. He'll sit right on top of this guy. So this is my chop, which is just a stylized version of my initials, BC. I always put a few dots around my signature. I don't always, but I have been lately. Now I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to sign it on the back. I will date it, but I'm going to do that off camera. And I'm going to list our tangles, quabog, and facade. And I did this tile for my Mindful Monday 58. You can put any notes on your tile that you want. And I will remind you, go back and date your artwork. It's nice to go back sometimes and compare things you drew from one stage, move forward several months or years and see how your drawing compares back to those early days. So anyway, that is all there is, except for one last step, step 8, which is simply to appreciate once again what we've done and take a look at your tile and your art and pat yourself on the back and say, wow, check that out, I made that. Isn't that clever? Isn't that sweet? Hopefully it brings you some joy and makes you smile, but also appreciate the time that you took for yourself today to bring yourself some mindfulness. And trust me, I think the world will be a much better place if we all do the same. So that is all for today. Thank you once again for sticking with me and watching this video. I appreciate you more than you know. And until next time, remember to be you and be happy.